NASCAR Cup Series heads to Kansas Speedway, and we see another chaotic race. A lot of drivers having issues with tires, and we see a major upset victory here at Kansas. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching the NASCAR Cup Series race from Kansas Speedway, the Hollywood Casino 400. We got a lot to talk about from the race. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So, before the green flag drop in today's race, a couple of drivers would have to start at the rear of the field. Eric Almirola would have an engine change before the green flag happened, and also the 47 Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who also did not qualify, had to make adjustments on his car as well. So at the start of the race, you had Tyler Reddick lead the field from the outside with Joey Logano on the inside. And Joey Logano would get a really good start, getting by Tyler Reddick, and would get the race lead. Then a few laps later, the 48 car of Alex Bowman basically got around Joey Logano on the outside and got him for the race lead. Then Alex Bowman would continue to dominate the early portion of the race, and then the competition caution will come out on lap 25. Then all the lap cars ended up coming down the road during the competition caution. Everyone ended up taking 4 tires. A lot of drivers basically have issues on pit road. Brad Keselowski, Chase Briscoe, and Mark Truex Jr. all had issues on pit road, while also Denny Hamlin got an equipment interference penalty as well, and Tyler Reddick won the race off of pit road. So on the restart, Tyler Reddick lead the field from the outside with Alex Bowman on the inside, and they basically were side by side going down the backstretch. Eventually, we saw basically the 8 car able to clear for the race lead. And then a lap or two later, the next caution race would come out for a very major issue for Kevin Harvick. The 45 and the 1 car, that being Bubba Wallace and the 1 of Ross Chastain, were battling up on turn number 4. They got it side by side. Ross Chastain pushed Bubba Wallace up the track, and then Kevin Harvick had nowhere to go, got really sideways, and got into the outside wall, bringing out the caution, especially after a bad run at Darlington. He's going to be in a lot of jeopardy and a lot of trouble going into the future, and unfortunately, he would fall out of the race. So on the restart, you had the 8 car for Tyler Reddick on the outside with Alex Bowman on the inside. Tyler Reddick got a really good jump and was able to clear for the race lead and would dominate the next portion of this race. Meanwhile, Chris Buescher was really slow on the track around lap 63, and he would come down pit road to fix the damage. And meanwhile, Tyler Reddick was leading the race, and then on lap 66 of the race, around 14 laps ago, in stage number 1, trouble would strike for him. Unfortunately, Tyler Reddick, who was dominating at the time, he got into the outside wall and really got a ton of damage on his car, bringing out the caution, and unfortunately, he would fall out of the race because of that. All leaders would end up coming down the road after the caution. We'd have basically have Austin Dillon and then Alex Bowman. They both basically take 2 tires on pit road, but Alex Bowman had some trouble on pit road getting around the 14 of Chase Briscoe, and Alex Bowman basically got stuck in the stall, and basically the 14 had issues getting on pit road. So on the restart, Austin Dillon lead the field from the outside, and Christopher Bell on the inside, and Christopher Bell got a really strong restart and was able to clear Austin Dillon for the race lead. He was able to pull away and win stage number 1 here at Kansas. We see a little bit of strategy basically at the stage. We had Eric Almirola basically stayed out. Meanwhile, we had all the rest of the leaders come down the road, and also Michael McDowell. He decided to go ahead and take 2 tires and won the race off pit road. Meanwhile, Bubba Wallace and Brian Blaney would have to come back down pit road, basically for loose wheels. They would have to come down pit road. So on the restart, you had Eric Almirola lead the field from the outside with Michael McDowell on the inside, and then Christopher Bell got a really strong run and got the lead for a second, and then Mark Truex Jr., he got a straight run and would dominate the next portion of this race. But then another caution would end up coming out on lap number 90 for the 23 car of Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs basically had some contact from Corey LaJoie. He got into the outside wall, bringing out the caution, and unfortunately, he would fall out of this race due to the damage. So on the restart, Mark Truex Jr. lead the field from the outside, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. on the inside, who was having a really strong day. But eventually, Truex got a really good restart and got the lead. And then unfortunately, as Stenhouse was having a great day, on lap 110, Stenhouse would run into problems. He got into the outside wall in turn number 2 and blew a right rear tire, bringing basically the caution out in this race. Major tough break there for Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who was having a really strong run. This would take him out of contention in this race, but not out of the race completely. So then all the lap cars would then come down pit road, and everyone ended up taking 4 tires. Austin Dillon, Kyle Busch, and Daniel Suarez all unfortunately got penalized for equipment interference. And then meanwhile, Mark Truex Jr., who is leading, he would have to come back down pit road for a second time for a loose left rear wheel. Because of that, William Byron became the leader on the restart, with him on the outside and Alex Bowman on the inside, with William Byron getting a really strong jump and able to get the lead. But then on that same lap in turn 1, trouble struck for multiple drivers. There was some contact between Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski going into turn number 1, and then Eric Jones got into the back. I believe it was to the Harrison Burton and then Corey LaJoie, and they would end up wrecking, and Eric Almirola would get a ton of damage. Unfortunately, I believe both Corey LaJoie and Harrison Burton followed the race, but Eric Almirola was able to continue on. Because of the shortage of tires, there wasn't a lot of tires left in the race, everyone decided to go ahead and stay out, except Kyle Busch, who came into pit road to make adjustments. So on the restart, William Byron go ahead and lead the field from the outside with Alex Bowman on the inside, and I think he would end up getting a really, really strong restart. So basically on the restart, William Byron would get a great jump and get the lead, but then Alex Bowman got a great run, and he was able to end up getting the race lead. Then we basically had a lot of great battling through the middle of the pack, a lot of great side-by-side racing between the 2, the 5, and the 20, and a lot of great battling. Meanwhile, as we got farther into the run, Alex Bowman dominating, there was trouble for the 18 car of Kyle Busch, who was running 12th at the time. He was spun off at turn number 4 and basically drove through the grass, got a lot of damage on the car, and unfortunately wouldn't fall out of the race. This would take him kind of out of contention and got a ton of damage and would have to come back down pit road. And then leaders would end up coming down pit road with Alex Bowman winning the race off pit road. So on the restart, Alex Bowman lead the field from the inside and William Byron on the outside, with Alex Bowman getting a really, really good jump. He would end up pulling away from William Byron, Chris Bell near the end. He would have a close call with Bell near the end, but then he would come off the corner, the 48 of Alex Bowman, and he would end up winning stage number 2 here at Kansas Speedway. We see all leaders go and come down pit road, with Alex Bowman basically keeping the lead off of pit road. So on the restart, Alex Bowman lead the field from the inside, and Bubba Wallace on the outside, and Alex Bowman get a really, really strong run and was able to clear for the race lead. Meanwhile, while the battling was going on, Brad Keselowski ended up coming down pit road with a vibration. He would come down pit road after restarting 17th. And then this would actually be the final run of the race. So the 45 of Bubba Wallace was really, really catching Alex Bowman near the end of the race. His car was really, really strong and was the fastest car. And then with around 67 to 68 laps to go, Bubba Wallace would pass Alex Bowman for the race lead and would start pulling away from Alex Bowman and got to a made big lead. Then we started having green flag pit stops after Bubba Wallace got the lead. He had such a big lead, he would basically start pulling away. And then eventually the race would come down to basically Bubba Wallace and Chris Bell, because they would end up coming down pit road and basically coming out at the same time, and Bubba had a pretty big lead. Then after the pit stops happened, Bubba Wallace actually had gotten a pretty major lead in front of Chris Bell and a pretty good size lead, about a 4-second lead. But the thing was, Chris Bell's car was better than Bubba Wallace's. So he started making some pretty big inroads on Bubba Wallace, and it got down to about 2 seconds, but eventually Chris Bell's car started falling off. And then with around 15 laps to go in this race, Denny Hamlin, who's coming back from issues in the race, he would pass Christopher Bell to get into second position. And then it came down to both of those drivers. Denny Hamlin was cashing up points, but Bubba Wallace was pulling away. Lap traffic hold up Denny Hamlin just a little bit. And then as they were coming down a couple laps to go, Denny Hamlin had cut that gap to 1.2 seconds. But it would not be enough for Denny Hamlin to catch Bubba Wallace. And coming off the final corner, after many, many people have doubted this guy for this whole entire season, and after all the trials and tribulation, Bubba Wallace comes off the corner and picks up his first win of the 2022 season, his second career NASCAR Cup Series victory, and a really dominating victory. There was no rain to help him. You didn't have to shorten the race, help him out this time. Bubba Wallace straight up won that race. Did he have the best car most of the day? No, but he had really great strategy. The team had a lot of good mojo, and this team has generally been really, really fast and has shown a lot of speed in the last couple years. And like I said, they've been really, really fast. So in my honest opinion, this is an absolutely well-deserved victory for Bubba Wallace. He's been so close so many times. You go back to Michigan, where he was really, really fast there. And now he finally has a freaking Cup Series victory for the second time in his career. Massive congratulations to Bubba. Well-deserved, in my opinion. And it's a major win for him. And I believe it's the first time that the opening round has been opened up by 2 winners in the history since the playoffs have started. And this is also the 18th driver to win, which is the most, I believe, since 2012 or even 2011. So we're getting close to getting up to those numbers. The record, I believe, is 19. So we're only one away from getting there. But this team's been really, really fast. And they advanced in the Owners' Points Championship, too. So massive congratulations to Bubba Wallace on winning today. It's a well-deserved win, in my honest opinion. So now we're going to go through the results of today's race, and then we'll go look at the playoff standings going into Bristol next Saturday, and then I'll give you my score of today's race. So Bubba Wallace picks up the victory. Denny Hamlin finishes in second. Denny Hamlin had a faster car than Bubba near the end of the race. Unfortunately, just didn't have enough time to catch him. I think if he doesn't have those issues in the early portion of the race with equipment interference, I think he has a chance to win. But still a really strong day for Denny Hamlin in the 11 car. Christopher Bell finishes third. Bell had a really strong car today. He was really, really fast. He's basically guaranteed locked into the next round at this point with a fantastic run. Car fell off in the last 2 laps, but he still gets a very solid top 5 finish. Alex Bowman finishes fourth. Bowman was the fastest car in the first half of the race, but it seemed like the Toyotas just got better near the end of the race. But still a really good run from Alex Bowman, who has been really quiet most of the year. But coming to Kansas, he kind of knew he was going to have a shot. Great run from Alex Bowman, finally doing something here. Mark Truex Jr. bounced back to get a top 5 finish. Great run from Mark Truex Jr., who really needed that run, especially kind of after not such a great run at Darlington. He gets a very solid top. Well, after the engine issues, he finishes in 5th. William Byron finishes 6th. Another very solid run for William Byron. Seems like the 2014 is really starting to click here at the end of the season, and they could be outside championship contenders for all we know. Good run from William Byron. Ross Chastain finishes 7th. Chastain ran around 7th to 10th most of the day, but still a good run from Chastain regardless. They've needed some good runs. First top 10 in like 8 weeks, so good to see Chastain have a good run. Kyle Larson finishes 8th. Larson really was quiet most of the day. He did get up to 3rd and 4th, at least at points in this race. Unfortunately, though, the car just was not good enough to go out there and contend, but still a very solid day for Kyle Larson 8th, and really will help him, especially after last week, makes up some ground in the championship. Ryan Blaney finishes 9th. Blaney had a pretty good day today as well. He was contending for the lead early in the race, but kind of fell back, but still a very solid top 10 finish. Daniel Suarez, who had his issues near the end, he bounces back to the top 10 finish. Daniel Suarez having a career year for sure. He's already got the win, but Suarez is in a little bit of better position going into the next round. He'll be trying to see if he can make it past Bristol, but still a very solid run from Suarez. Chase Elliott finishes 11th. Elliott he was good at points and bad at points. The car was terrible, and he still finished 11th. Good enough probably to help at least a little bit in points, but man, that 19 just doesn't look as good in the playoffs as they look in the regular season, so things got to change for Chase Elliott. He got 9th. Austin Cindric finishes 12th. Cindric ran top 10 the majority of the day, so he kind of fell back near the end, but still a decent run for him. Chase Briscoe finished 13th. Briscoe had a car that was in the top 5. I think the hood basically going up a little bit on the car kind of hurt him a little bit, but still a decent top 15 finish, but still is looking for his first top 10 finish in like 15 races and didn't get it done today. Austin Dillon with a very solid run in 14th position. Chris Buescher finishes in 15th. Michael McDowell, credit to him, did a good strategy call, and it really helped him out because he got a top 20 finish. Solid run for Michael McDowell. Joey Logano finishes 17th. Logano was good early, and then the car just completely really kind of got killed near the end and was really, really bad. He got 17th. Noah Gragson, who had contact with Eric Jones, gets a very solid top 20 finish. Good run from Noah Gragson. Justin Haley finishes in 19th. Solid run for him. Ran top 10 a lot of the day. I guess his car just wasn't good near the end. Ty Dillon finishes 20th. Eric Almirola finishes in 21st. Cole Custer finishes 22nd. Todd Gilliland finishes in 23rd. Landon Castle with a very solid top 25 finish in 24th. Brad Keselowski finishes 25th. Kyle Busch, after his issues, he finishes in 26th. He's really going to be looking to have to basically advance with the win at this point. Cody Ware finishes 27th. J.G. Elliott finishes in 28th. Eric Jones finishes 29th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finishes in 30th after his issues. B.J. McLeod 31st. Harrison Burton finishes 32nd. Corey LaJoie finishes 33rd. Ty Gibbs finishes 34th after his issues. Tyler Reddick, after dominating early, he finishes in 35th. And finishing last in 36th place in today's NASCAR Cup Series race is Kevin Harvick, who's had a couple of those as of recently. Again, tough break for Kevin Harvick, basically. He had a really good, probably he's going to have a good run today, but he ends up finishing last in today's race. So give me 1 second. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the playoff standings after the second race of the playoffs. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the playoff standings. Christopher Bell is currently 58 points above the cutoff line currently at the moment. He's guaranteed safe pretty much at this point. William Byron is 48 above the cutoff line. Denny Hamlin is 47 above the cutoff line in third. Joey Logano, I believe, is 41 points currently, about 41 or 42 points currently above the cutoff line. 40 points above the cutoff line, I should say. Ryan Blaney is 36 points above the cutoff line in fifth. Alex Bowman currently is about 30 points above the cutoff line. Chase Elliott currently sits 28 above. Kyle Larson is 27 above. Ross Chastain is 26 above. Daniel Suarez is 6 above. You have basically Tyler Reddick, who is 2 above, and an Austin who is 2 above as well. Kyle Busch is 2 points below. Austin Dillon is 4 points below. 3 points below. Chase Briscoe is 9 below, and then Kevin Harvick is basically in a must-win situation, being 35 below. At this particular point, I think everyone above Daniel Suarez is safe unless they all have catastrophic failures. They're going to be out of contention. Everyone else, like Suarez, Reddick, and Cinder, they're going to have to be on their game and have a really strong run, especially after those guys did not have fantastic days. So now we're going to talk about the overall race as a whole, give you my score of today's race. This race, in my honest opinion, was a very, very good race. There was a lot of stop and start for sure that kind of affected the outcome of the race, but you had a lot of great racing throughout the pack, a lot of great battles for the lead, a lot of covers and goers, and a lot of drivers, and a race you really didn't know who was going to win. My score of today's NASCAR Cup Series race from Kansas Speedway, overall, I'm going to give today's Cup race at Kansas a 9.5 out of 10. The only thing I would want to see is a little bit more green flag at points, but I still thought the race was really, really good today. It was a very awesome race, and I really enjoyed today's race at Kansas. I think this race was a little bit better than the spring Kansas race, in my opinion, but not by much, but this still was a very, very good race, in my honest opinion. So anyway, that is your today's NASCAR Cup Series race. If you're from Kansas Speedway, I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notification on to be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links description below that, and comment your thoughts on today's race. What are your thoughts on today's race? Let me know below. Let me know your score in the comments below, and congratulate Bubba Wallace on picking up his first victory of the 2022 season. Let me know in the comments below. Tomorrow on my channel, we're going to have a NASCAR news recap video. We're going to go a little more in-depth on the Kyle Busch situation with him potentially going to RCR with that announcement coming this week. And we've got other stuff to talk about throughout the week as well to discuss in upcoming news videos. So anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for some more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.